Well, today is April 19th, 2024. Today here in town is a day of remembrance. Living in Oklahoma City, today marks the 29th anniversary of the Oklahoma City bombing. So I've come downtown and I'm going to walk across the street from where I'm sitting now, and I'm going to go remember the 168 that lost their lives. And I wanted to take you with me in case you've never seen the Oklahoma City bombing memorial site. I don't pretend to be an expert on what happened here. Just remember things as they happened that day, where I was, where family members were. And let's go walk around for a while and see and take in the Oklahoma City bombing memorial. As you walk in, the first thing you notice is the reflecting pool. This giant reflecting pool here that is where 5th Street used to sit, which used to run right straight ahead there, which is where Timothy McVeigh pulled the Ryder truck right up along 5th Street. Where the building once stood now has 168 chairs. Notice how the back of the chair also resembles the gates at either side of the memorial. People like to come out here, leave flowers, and remember those that were lost that day. These walls right here are once the outer walls of the Murrah building. So it sat right here on this footprint. You can see the trees lining the old footprint of the Murrah building. These trees are evergreen trees. They will eventually grow as tall as the building once was, which is 9 stories. They were planted around the footprint to remember what once stood right here on this site. Today is April 19th, 2024. It is the 29th anniversary of the bombing right here in Oklahoma City. It took place right here where I'm sitting right now. These walls right behind me were the outer shell of the Alfed P Murrah Federal Building that stood right here in downtown Oklahoma City. That morning, April 19th, 1995, Timothy McVeigh pulled up his Ryder truck just feet from where I am, right over there. He parked it and he got the hell out of here because he knew what was about to happen. He knew that he was going to cause a mass casualty event, and he was right. 168 people died that day. Most of them in the building, and then there were some that were nearby that were injured, and they died because of those injuries. It was right here, right about between these 2 trees, where Timothy McVeigh parked that Ryder truck that morning. As you can see, that's where most of the deaths are. Because once again, these chairs represent somebody who was lost in that bombing. As we come up here and look at them, notice too that some of them are smaller. That represents a child that was lost. They're sitting in rows to represent the floor that they worked on or that the kids were on when they perished. There was 9 floors to the Murrah building. So as we can see, there's 9 different rows of chairs. You know, it's really one of those weird things to come down here and walk around. It is one of my favorite places to come in the city, just to reflect and think about what happened here on this day 29 years ago. The total devastation that this area saw. Where I'm sitting right here, this was a parking lot. And about the only thing that survived is actually that tree right there up behind me. It's known as the survivor's tree. It survived. Somehow it was able to keep on living with so much destruction and death around it. And it's a miracle in itself. And they've actually sold seeds from that tree that have gone all around the world. So there are little bits of that survivor tree right there, that tree, all over the world. And that's just a true testament to the spirit of the survivors here. It's just another one of those things from this area that's just so amazing to be able to see when we're down here, that could have very easily have been wiped off the face of the earth, but it survived and it still thrives, and that's just fantastic. As I sit here, I can perfectly see that just off to my left over here is the gateway that shows 901. What that represents is the moment before the bomb took place. This here in the middle, as well as we know where the bombing took place, where the building was, and the destruction and the chaos. Then off over here is another gate like that. This says 903. That represents the first moment of healing. Man, when they designed this place, they did an amazing job to be able to represent life before the bombing, what happened here, and then life after the bombing. And of course, every one of those chairs that I showed you earlier, at night, they light up underneath. I've never been down here for it. Maybe I'll have to come back later on tonight. I feel like tonight would be a great night to do that if I'm going to. So maybe I will. But let me just show you around here. Again, absolute beauty from where there once was total chaos and destruction. You know, I wasn't living here in Oklahoma City when this happened. I actually was living in Tumwater, Washington, just south of Olympia. And I remember that morning quite well. My mom came in, woke me up, said something's happening in Oklahoma City. So we turned on the news and we watched what unfolded right back here, just right behind me. Having a lot of friends and family from the state of Oklahoma, it was surreal, honestly, to see something like that happening right here in the middle of Oklahoma, in the heartland. Of course, Timothy McVeigh later went on to admit that he picked this building on purpose because it housed a lot of members of the ATF, and wanted to get revenge for what they did in Waco 2 years prior to that day. If you don't remember that, that is when the ATF went in after a long siege there at Mount Carmel on the Branch Davidians. There is a great documentary actually on Oklahoma City done by PBS. I'll put a link down below, and what that looks like. If you want to check that out, you can find it on Amazon. It's a great documentary. It talks a lot about what led to the bombing here, which includes stuff like Ruby Ridge out in Idaho, as well as Waco, Texas. They have a museum there also, as you can see here. The outside of it has these great little areas for the kids to play and write different messages as they've been there. That wall up there has art that was done by grade schoolers when this happened. Now they don't allow video inside the museum, but I did get some pictures. First one here is the old sign that once stood out front of the building. This next one is the license plate from the Ryder truck that Timothy McVeigh was driving that day. And of course the shirt that Timothy McVeigh was wearing when he did this and was arrested. These were the weapons he had on him that day. This last picture shows the getaway car that Timothy McVeigh drove as he left downtown Oklahoma City that day. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. I want to say thank you for coming by and watching it, and taking some time out to remember those that lost their lives in the bombing here in Oklahoma City. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.